Today we are going to be reviewing the 2024 National Farm Toy Show tractor, and that is a WA-17 Wagner. Welcome back to Winders Model Farms. If you're not familiar with our channel, we do reviews on new farm toys as well as existing ones and customs, and sometimes even do some display setups and other stuff. All things revolving around model farming and even some real tractors from time to time. So today I wanted to take a look at the WA-17 Wagner, and we will start with the box. I'll set this thing out of the way. So on the top you got the 2024 National Farm Toy Show WA-17 there. On the front we get a nice drawing picture with Toy Farmer. I love the drawings that come on these National Farm Toy Show boxes. You see National Farm Toy Show 4-Wheel Drive Evolution Series 7. It is 14 plus an adult collectible. It's made by Ertl. That is the bottom of the box there. And what it's also cool is this picture kind of wraps around the side of the box. You can see there, you know, the implement that's being pulled, and then a little farm in the background. So that's pretty cool how they do that. On this side, we get a picture of a real one, and then a little bit about it. And these were made in Oregon, which I think is cool. My dad was actually born in Oregon, so I think that's pretty neat that these tractors were made in Portland, Oregon. So, and then the back of the box is just the same as the front there. So let's talk about the actual toy here. This thing is pretty hefty die cast. It's got some weight to it. You can see there it's got WA-17 and FWD Wagner, and there's not a whole lot of decaling on it other than that on both sides of the hood, as well as the grill says FWD. We happen to have a paint chip on ours. Unfortunately, it was like that when I opened it out of the box. And then on the rear, FWD Wagner there. So that's about all the decaling you get. Pretty straightforward and simple, as was the real ones. And then we've got a little bit of detail as far as lighting goes. We got a couple lights up in the grill. And then on the rear, we've got some work lights painted on the cab here, but no lights that stick off of this. These are all just painted on. One other detail that is on the rear here is your hydraulic hookups. They did a good job on that. They painted that, if you can see there. So that looks good. And then we get a hitch here that's pretty realistic. Not going to hook up to any of your toy implements, but it does have a realistic look. And then nice big round fenders. Love the fenders on these things. We get good metal rims that are painted white with some beefy looking tires. I really like the size of the tires they put on these things, and I think the rims are good as well. On the bottom, there's not a whole lot of detail. You can see a little bit of detail here and here, but other than that, not a whole lot. You do get your National Farm Toy Show 2024 stamp down there as well. And then some more writing there from Ertl. You also have right here, which I believe is supposed to be a tow hook that hangs off your bottom bumper, somewhere you can put a chain to if this thing was to get stuck, or if you were putting a chain to it to pull another tractor out. We do have a grill here that is, I believe it's like printed on. It doesn't feel like a sticker, but it is smooth. Looks pretty decent, I'd say. We've got some engine detail in the casting here, as well as on this side. And you can see here your exhaust comes out and up. And then we've got our air breather here, and then big air filter canister there on the side. Then you can kind of see the detail of like the rain flap on top of your exhaust. Got air conditioning on top of the cab They did a little bit of silver there on the front of that, but overall, nice little addition to it. And then we got door handles on the door here, and then around this side we've got our steps with handrails. We got a grab rail there, and then a little door handle painted on the door. One thing that they did on this that I think really makes the cab windows pop is they painted black around the interior of those windows there. You can see the black painted around there, and I think that really makes the cab glass pop, really makes it look sharp. Now you can't really see the best into the interior. There's a big steering wheel in there and a seat, and that's about all I can tell as far as what's inside the cab. It's just hard to see in those little windows, and I think the detail is sufficient for, you know, not being able to see in there. I think they did a good job. You can kind of see the seat and the steering wheel, so you know what's going on. And one other thing, they did put a windshield wiper on the front windshield as well, so that's a nice little addition. Now, some of you may be wondering, what's the difference in this and the John Deere WA-17? And so I have the John Deere WA-17 in 1/64 scale here, so we can take a quick look and a comparison. Now, at its roots, you know, they're the same tractor as far as a lot of components, but there's a few cosmetic things on this casting, and I guess in real life too, that would be different. So first of all, you'll notice that the Wagner has more of a rounded hood, or it's just kind of smaller, and the bumpers aren't as squared off. So you kind of see more of a rounded shaped front end here, and this is much more squared off, bigger hood, where this is more trimmed down and narrower. We do also get the lights up on these bumpers here, and we get 2 tow hooks under this one versus 1. You can see the grille is different as well on there, as the John Deere has headlights and the Wagner FWD does not. You can kind of see that hood shape difference. Another thing on this hood, you can see here a seam with what would appear to be like hinges going across there, where the John Deere's got one big solid hood run across here. Now, another thing when you're looking at these is the exhaust on the, oh, that's the WA-4. I was getting them heat. So the WA-14 toy has a different exhaust. 17 still has the same as this one, so the exhaust is the same, but the John Deere is going to have a little bit smaller step on the side here. This has a little bit bigger flared step right there, so that's a nice detail that they could have got away with probably. You can see here, this is a little bit different. The way they did this is a little different on the toy. You got a rivet kind of being hidden here. It's not on your John Deere. They did a little more detail on the Deere there. As far as the rear goes, the back half of this machine, I believe, is identical from everything I could see on these toys. And then you get over here, your steps are going to be a little different. So your Wagner steps, kind of a little bit wider, and they're more flat, where on this John Deere, they're a little bit skinnier steps, but there's a little bit of texture to them, as you can see there. And then you got another rivet there in the steps, and there, where that is not on the Wagner here, as you can see there. So just little minor differences such as that. Another thing, when you look at the engines in the casting, you can see that the engine is slightly different in the way they did it in the casting. There's just a little bit different details. They're not shaped the same. It's going to be hard for you to see them both at the same time, but they are different. They're not identical to each other there. And then on this other side, though, they are going to be pretty similar. I wasn't able to find really any differences when looking at the far side. The air conditioning on the cab is all the same. Cab appears to be the same. We did not get a windshield wiper on the John Deere. Handrail is a little bit different, a little tighter, taller there on the Deere, a little wider on the Wagner. But overall, very similar. Like I said, just some minor differences in the two units. But I think that these are awesome pieces to have in your collection, especially if you like four-wheel drive tractors. And these Wagners are a cool piece of history that unfortunately, because of the John Deere one, are not around today. So that is the Wagner WA-17. If you've got any questions about it, leave it in the comments. Also, if you bought one, I like to know in the comments. Let me know what you think about it, or if you plan on getting one. So anyways, thanks for watching, everyone. Have a good day.